First for news and the best live sport. This is BBC 5 Live.
It's 3 o'clock. Good morning. This is Up All Night on 5 Live. I'm Dotun Adebayo.
The main news on 5 Live: victory for the Turkish president in a referendum that could see him in power until 2029.
And in sport, Manchester United beat the Premier League leaders Chelsea at Old Trafford.
This is BBC 5 Live.
Here with the BBC News on 5 Live is Steve Saul.
Turkey's President Erdogan has declared victory in a controversial referendum granting him sweeping new powers. He says it's opened a new page in democracy. Opponents say the result amounts to one-man rule. Our correspondent Mark Lowens in the Turkish capital, Ankara.
You have one side of the country tonight that is jubilant, that feels it has clinched victory, and it has given President Erdogan a mandate to undertake the biggest political change in modern Turkish history, giving him sweeping new powers. The other side of the country that is not accepting this result, claiming massive voting irregularities.
Prince Harry has revealed he went for counselling after spending nearly 20 years trying not to think about the death of his mother. He was 12 when Diana, Princess of Wales, was killed in a car crash. Speaking to the Daily Telegraph, Prince Harry says he's now in a good place after seeking help. The US says it's working closely with China to address North Korea's nuclear ambitions. It's condemned a failed missile launch. The former British ambassador to North Korea, John Everard, is sceptical about America's claim of cooperation with China and says officials in Beijing have already expressed concern about their allies' behaviour.
The Chinese last week indicated clearly that had Kim Jong-un gone for a nuclear test, then they would have supported sanctions against North Korea through the United Nations Security Council. What we don't know is where in the scheme of things the Chinese are going to rank a missile test, a provocative missile test, but nevertheless a failed missile test.
Police in the US state of Ohio are hunting a man they say committed a murder live on social media. Officers in the city of Cleveland said Steve Stevens broadcast the shooting of an elderly man on the video streaming service Facebook Live. A senior detective in Northern Ireland has told those he knew who killed a German backpacker that it's not too late to give information to the police. Inga Maria Hauser's body was found in a forest in County Antrim almost 30 years ago. A specialist squad of police and prison officers has been set up in England and Wales to try and stop drones flying drugs and mobile phones into jails. The team will share information on what types are being used and how to catch the people who operate them. Here's our Home Affairs correspondent, Daniel Samford.
They will forensically examine captured drones to try to find out who was flying them, share information about the types of quadcopters and methods used in an attempt to curb the problem, and share methods of how to combat the issue. Though the prison service couldn't give any details this weekend about how many officers would be involved in their drone squad or how big the budget was.
There's been a record increase in new distilleries in the UK over the last year. A study's found more than 50 opened in 2016, with a number of boutique distillers pushing big brands off the shelves. Here's our reporter Sean Greszczyk.
The study by the accountancy group UHY Hacker Young says there's been a 25% rise in new distilleries in England over the past 12 months, from 28 to a record 35. In Scotland, 18 distilleries opened in 2016, 50% more than the previous year.
That's the news. Here's the 5 Live Sport now from Don Busby.
Jose Mourinho says his Manchester United team were totally in control as they beat Premier League leaders Chelsea 2-0. Marcus Rashford and Ander Herrera scored to send United fifth. Jurgen Klopp says Liverpool could have scored one or two more goals. As it was, they beat West Brom 1-0 at the Hawthorns to go third. And the Scottish champions Celtic were held to a 2-2 draw at Ross County. The home side's equaliser came courtesy of a 90th minute penalty. Celtic's captain Scott Brown was also sent off in added time. Sebastian Vettel has described his 2017 Ferrari as really amazing to drive. The German won the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton, with Valtteri Bottas third. He now has a 7-point lead in the standings. In Rugby Union's Premiership, Bristol have been relegated. They were beaten 36-21 by leaders Wasps, and Saracens beat Northampton 27-25. Luca Brissell leads Marco Fu 7-2, and Mark Allen leads Jimmy Robertson 5-4. And the former England captain Alistair Cook made 110 for Essex as they beat Somerset at Taunton.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, online, smartphone and tablet.
A look at the weather. Scattered showers through the early hours. The day will see patchy light rain clearing southeastwards, leaving brighter skies for many parts of the country. Not that warm though, with highs of 13 Celsius.
F1 Season 2017.